Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to begin our time together with a prayer. From Isaiah, we hear the words, "But now, says the Lord who created you and who formed you, I have called you by your name, you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. For I am the Lord your God. Since you were precious in my sight, you have been honored, and I have loved you. I am with you." When I hear these words from Isaiah, it's easy to think that these new to be associates are most certainly called by God to be here today. During their 2-year Franciscan way of life process, they have spent time discerning what their path is. They listened to God's call, and that brought them here today. We also remember that each of us are on a journey and are continually called again and again to respond to God's call in our lives and to be aware of our path. Today we celebrate and give thanks for all the ways God calls us and all the ways in which we respond to that call. God calls us by name. Just this morning I read that it is World Gratitude Day. I didn't Google if that was accurate, but I'm going for accuracy. But I thought, how appropriate. On this World Gratitude Day, I am grateful for this opportunity for you to meet the new associates. Altogether, 24 people will be commissioned this fall. 23 are able to be with us this morning. They participated in 6 different Franciscan Way of Life groups. I want to thank all of our Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for your commitment and your effort that you put into this 2-year process. So those who are beginning a 2-year process, those who are halfway through, those who have finished, please stand. All those facilitators, all the facilitators who've led our meeting. And I'm also grateful for our prayer sisters. Each Franciscan Way of Life group has a sister praying for us. If you are a sister who is praying for us, please stand. Some are watching from their rooms. Yes, thank you. So today I've invited the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for the newly commissioned associates to be here today. They will introduce the associates to you, and then each associate will share a little about themselves and why they desire to become an associate.
Good morning. Myself, Mary Ann Koch, and Kathleen Schultz facilitated a group in Des Moines, Iowa. It was in person, and I would like to introduce to you the people from our group that decided to take and become committed associates today. They are Gina McCrae, Sherry Grauer, and Victoria Christian. And I will let them now introduce themselves to all of you. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Gina McCrae. I have a soft voice, so if you're not hearing me, raise your hand and I'll try and get closer. I live in Des Moines, Iowa, with my husband of 47 years. We're blessed with 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters. My 40-plus year career in social work included working with elders, veterans, people with addictions, caregivers and their families. Very blessing for me. I retired in 2019 and loving it. I strive to live the Franciscan values of community and service. Sister Maureen Leach, my best friend, has been key to my keeping contact with this 50-year connection with this community. Finally, I'm joining. I have a faith community that helps me keep focused on social justice involvement. I have a weekly faith sharing group, which includes Associate Kathleen Schultz, that helps us walk through all the joys and sorrows of life. And I also strive the Franciscan value of standing with the poor, and through my work and volunteer efforts. The sessions of Franciscan Way of Life that stand out to me the most are the significant learnings of creation and incarnation. I resonate with that belief that incarnation is everything. God is in everything, and God is always being born. I've been attracted to this wonderful Franciscan community since college retreat days, I'll have to admit, in the late 1970s. When I followed my call to marry my husband in 1978, I did not dream there'd be this opportunity to also be a part of this community. I'm eternally grateful for this opportunity to join this community of wonderful sisters and associates. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Grauer, and I live in Winterset, Iowa. My education and work over the past 45 years have centered on care for creation. I worked in soil and water conservation early in my career, and later worked for the nonprofits Trees Forever and the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. After retiring from full-time work, I worked part-time for Every Step Hospice. I'm currently on the board of the Greater Madison County Community Foundation, the Friends of the Winterset Library Board, and serve as co-coordinator for contemplative outreach of Central Iowa. I aspire to live simply. The Franciscan Way continually invites me to live more lightly and more responsibly in the created world, our common home. The Franciscan Way of Life teaching on incarnation, like Gina, was a welcome reminder that Christianity is radically incarnational. The Franciscan Way offers guidance on living in a sacramental world. The other teaching that was especially touching to me was that on joy. How could we survive, much less thrive, in these tumultuous times without the assurance of joy? There is depth to joy, a depth resulting from our being open to and touched by both the beautiful and the difficult things that happen around and to us. Having completed the Franciscan Way of Life process, I feel I can now say yes to the invitation to become an associate. Thank you for welcoming me, and thank you, Kathleen and Mary Ann.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Victoria Christian from Des Moines, Iowa. My career included working in public relations and 20 years as a magazine and book editor at Meredith Corporation. I volunteer as a teacher associate for ESL at the Immigrant Center, and I also serve at the Catholic Worker House in our area. I strive to live the value of standing with people who are poor and homeless by volunteering at the Catholic Workers House. It's joyful to be part of this community. I also try to live simply. I shop at thrift stores and discount stores for my clothing needs. The outfit I have on actually cost a total of $8. These past 2 years, I have experienced so much growth through the Franciscan Way of Life process. I have learned more deeply to enjoy God in nature and to have compassion for all of humanity. I am grateful for this opportunity to become an associate. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jo Myers Walker, and I facilitated a Franciscan Way of Life process which was held in person in Iowa City. And I'm delighted to introduce these people. Linda Myers, who's not able to attend this at this day, Ann Elsbecker, Janine Jorgensen, Matt McAndrew, Mary Merchant, Don Fritz, and Judy Fritz.
Good morning. Good morning. My name's Ann Elsbecker, and I'm from North Liberty. I was a registered nurse for 36 and a half years, and I retired in December of 2022. I'm a member of St. Thomas More Parish in Coralville, and I'm on the Social Justice Commission, past member of Pastoral Counselor. I'm a lector, Eucharistic minister, and assist with 7th grade religious ed. I've also served on the Social Action Commission for the Diocese of Davenport since 2009. My favorite lesson in Franciscan Way of Life was the one on putting our ego aside. I didn't think about that a whole lot, but that really stood out to me. I'm stretching myself by serving others at the Iowa City Catholic Worker and attending immigration accompaniments in the Cedar Rapids area. And I am also working on living more simply and not buying a lot of extra stuff. I feel such an affinity with the Franciscans. I grew up with them in Bancroft, Iowa, and I know how kind and gentle you all are. I also attended Briarcliff, where I was able to meet more sisters, and I so desire to become an associate with this community. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Janine Jorgensen, and I am from North Liberty, Iowa. I have worked at the University of Iowa, University of Oregon, and Oldboy University in offices of international programs, establishing and administering exchange programs and helping students succeed. I'm currently retired. I am very involved in St. Thomas More Parish in Coralville. I attend Tuesday morning scripture study, deliver Eucharist to homebound people, sing in the choir, am a member of the Social Justice Committee, and attend daily Mass. I experience joy when I sing in the choir, and I also stand with people who are poor as I participate in social justice activities. I appreciated being a part of the Franciscan Way of Life process, where I was introduced to the lives of Francis and Clare. The most impactful exploration of the Franciscan Way of Life, for me, was accompanying sisters, associates, and other Franciscan Way of Life members on a 10-day pilgrimage to Assisi last fall. It helped me to better understand the role of nature, the role that nature played in Francis's life, as well as the importance of solitude for prayer. This pilgrimage gave me the confidence to believe that becoming a Franciscan associate was a realistic pathway to enhance my faith and serve the poor. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Matthew McAndrew, and I'm from Coralville, Iowa. I'm married to my wife Marta, who's from Honduras, and we have 4 children. One of those is a priest. I was a science teacher, and now I monitor field tiles and work as a water operator for 2 water supplies. I feel a call to bring water information to the public, as you know, the situation with the water quality in the state of Iowa and the cancer rates that we have. I've taught religious ed in several locations and helped 2nd grade Eucharist and 7th and 8th grade confirmation classes. I've also taught Eucharistic home. I have taken Eucharist to the homebound. I strive to live the value of simplicity. I use a hybrid car, an electric mower to reduce my carbon input. I also care for creation by supporting the animal and plant population in my garden and my yard. By becoming an associate, I would like to share with you in your faith sharing, prayer, study, and service. I would like to contribute in ways that I am able to, and I hope to continue to learn more about St. Francis and St. Clare. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Merchant, and I'm from Coralville, Iowa. My husband Jim and I have been married 60 years and have 5 children and 10 grandchildren, 1 more on the way. My career has been in nursing. I worked in the cancer research unit in neurosurgery, and I taught students in the clinical areas. I went back to school when my youngest entered kindergarten and earned a PhD in educational psychology and worked 16 years in family medicine doing research with the team there. I retired in 2013. I'm a member of St. Thomas More Parish, and I'm very involved there with the Social Justice Commission, with the free lunch program, Catholic Worker House, you name it, whatever we're doing. The Green Team lately was very active. Through these efforts, I try to live the values and teachings of St. Francis in standing with the poor and the marginalized. I'm very concerned about food insecurity and the welfare of the poor and those who are left behind, especially children, the elderly, and migrants. I strive to care for creation by recycling and unnecessary consumption. That's difficult. And we're trying to get rid of all plastic that we can possibly do and reduce. I'm concerned about our waterways and reducing pesticide use. Through the Franciscan Way of Life process and other books I've been reading, I've come to realize more fully all that Francis stood for in his ministry. He saw all creation as valued by God. I would like to continue to grow and deepen my faith through the Franciscan Way of Life. Through reading books and through meeting with the group that we have formed. In addition to my personal and spiritual growth, I hope that I can contribute my talents and efforts to this community where it's possible. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Don Fritz, and I am from Iowa City, Iowa. I am married to Judy, my wife, for 48 years. We have 5 children. I started my career in the grocery business and moved to produce manager there. I eventually started my own business doing maintenance and repair and retired from that after 22 years. I've been involved as a member of the Knights of Columbus through St. Thomas More for the past 15 years. I'm also a catechist, and along with my wife Judy, help teach 2nd grade, helping them prepare for the sacraments. I live the values of care of creation, care of the earth and its resources, and care of the human family of God as God envisioned. We live quite simply, garden and recycle, and try to be good stewards of the earth. After reflecting on what I've learned in the Franciscan Way of Life process, I realize I am living many of the values that St. Francis and St. Clare lived in their everyday lives in following the gospel. It is my desire to become an associate so that I may live more deeply this way as well, by sharing faith and prayer with others, offering service to others, and to continue to be involved in my parish and community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Judy Fritz. I live in Iowa City, Iowa, and married to Don Fritz. We have 5 children and 13 grandchildren. I started my career as a medical assistant. I stayed home to raise our children. Then I went back to school and became an administrative assistant. I worked for Iowa City Hospice, and after 22 years, retired in 2020. I am very involved with St. Thomas More Parish. As a catechist for over 40 years, a sacristan, and Eucharistic minister. I also chair the Church Life Family Life Commission, and I am involved with our Welcome Commission and Green Team. One value I live is care for creation. This value was instilled in me at a very young age by my father. I grew up on a farm, and we did not waste. We repurposed and recycled before it was the in thing to do. I feel I'm a joyful person, and I try to share that with others in my communities. I welcome people as they come to church. I share joy with our second graders. I find joy in cooking for others, and often provide meals for those in need and make sure food does not go to waste after any social function. In experiencing the Franciscan Way of Life process, I realized how much of my current life reflects the values of St. Francis. I felt my desire to live a simple life was an oddity. Now I know it is a treasure. St. Francis has been calling me throughout my entire life. During these past 2 years, I was strengthened to speak out more about these values with my family and friends. Having been on this journey, I desire to go deeper with my life with others. My hope is to build stronger and long-lasting relationships with the sisters and associates through faith sharing, prayer, continued learning, and service. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mary Jo Pfeiffer Wolf, and I was a Franciscan Way of Life facilitator for a group that met in person and a little bit online in Ames. From this group, Amy Keel and Mary Lynch have discerned to become associates. I invite them to introduce themselves.
Good morning. I'm Amy Keel, and I'm from Ames, Iowa. Married to Mark, 3 children, 3 of the most amazing grandchildren you've ever met. I am a clinical social worker, and for the past 18 years specializing in trauma. Because I'm self-employed, I chose that because I'm able to offer therapy to those who otherwise could not afford it. And I'm committed to, I have typical people, but I'm committed to providing therapy services to people on Medicare, Medicaid, and often work with those who don't have insurance. I'm also a spiritual director and trained as a Boundless Compassion facilitator. I've led weekend retreats as well as half-day retreats, Lent, Advent. I've embraced the values of simplicity and care for creation in my life for a long time now. Like my fellow sister, most of my purchases come from consignment and thrift stores. I try to lead a vegetarian diet and bike to work. I try to live the values of standing with the poor and social work through working in prisons and mental health institutions. I've been greatly influenced by the Franciscan Way of Life session on conversion, the continual conversion of heart in the many, many ways that looks like on a daily basis. I've learned much through these 2 years, and I'm excited to become an associate. I'm thrilled to be having the opportunity to meet a lot of you people and hopefully form relationships. that share my fundamental beliefs and who can challenge and encourage my own growth in faith, as I hope I can offer in return.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mary Lynch, and I'm from Ames, Iowa. I'm married to my husband, Alan. We have 4 children and 1 granddaughter. I began my career in the computer area, and when my oldest was born, I started staying home with my children. And then in 2018, I became certified as a yoga instructor. And so I teach courses or classes, but also do individual sessions, which I really enjoy, just feeling the spirit come out of them. I'm involved at St. Thomas Aquinas in Ames. I'm currently sponsoring an individual who will be joining the church, and that wonderful individual is Amy. I'm also involved with Stephen Ministry, and in that we journey with people that are going through any kind of challenging time. So we meet with them one-on-one and give them Christian, confidential, and just compassionate care. I strive to live the value of care for creation, so intentionally purchasing items that are used or also things that have little to no waste. I enjoy going for walks, and often when I do, and this started when I started my Franciscan way of life, I pick up a rock, a leaf, or a twig and carry it on my walk, just feeling how the textures of that connect to myself. And so that's helped me to connect more with nature. I also try to live in unity with others, and often I ask myself, how can I welcome everyone? And this is a very challenging area for me currently. But I find myself turning to God, to St. Francis, asking for grace to be more united with others and myself. Through the Franciscan way of life process, I came to a deeper understanding of Francis's deep love for everyone and his ability to see Jesus in all. So I pray I will grow in that area. I also learned more ways to be, from St. Francis and Clare, ways that I can live more simply. And this invited me to reflect on how I can deepen that in my own life. I am grateful to be here. I'm just glad to be an associate, and thank you all for making this such a welcoming place.
Hi, I'm Deb Pellegrini, Margie Larman, Patty Purdy, Eunice Ank, Sister Lorinda Hafel, Mary Grubnick, Marian Curzio, and at home is Carol Maroney and Dottie. And I were the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for a group that met on Zoom and in person. From this group, Patty Powers, Christine Herrera-Cantlin, Kathleen Wojtasek, and Sharon Pielmeyer have discerned to become associates. I invite them to introduce themselves.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Patricia Powers, by Patty. I am from Midlothian, Illinois. My husband Robert and I have been married for 33 years. We have 3 wonderful children. I worked at a bank during high school and through college. Then I worked for a garbage company / chemical company. I took some time off to raise our children. For the past 18 years, I have been at St. Christopher's School and Parish, working as an administrative assistant. I volunteer my time at the parish and school by doing a variety of things. I'm a Eucharistic minister, sacristan. My husband and I do baptismal prep classes, wedding rehearsals, Bible study, bingo, We teach religious ed to seventh grade to 10th grade. Two Franciscan values that I love are community and helping the poor. My community is very important to me. I try to serve wherever there is a need. With Bible study and Franciscan way of life process, I have been able to share my faith and grow with others. The Franciscan way of life process has helped me understand more about St. Francis and St. Clare. After reflecting, praying, and discerning, I am asking to become an associate and hope to share my gifts and skills as we all grow together. And I want to thank my wonderful facilitators for all you guys did for all of us. Thank you.
Good morning. Hello, my name is Christine Herrera Cantlin, and I'm from Midlothian, Illinois, and I'm delighted to be here. I've been married to my husband, Matt Cantlin, for 28 years. I graduated with a degree in secondary education, but over time I grew a passion to help people and businesses with financial management. And now I'm a volunteer in a variety of ways in my local parish, school, and other organizations. And I especially love being a school board member and a financial council member. I've also had a wonderful time volunteering at places such as the Sir Thomas Center, Catholic Charities, and Feed My Starving Children. I live the Franciscan values of community and care for creation, and in community, amazing things can happen. In living in community, we are able to care for and support one another in a time of need. We can also encourage one another and challenge one another. I live the value of care for creation when I care for my fellow brothers and sisters, for the animals of the planet, and for the world itself. In the Franciscan way of life, I had an opportunity to learn more in depth about the life of St. Francis, St. Clare, and the Sisters of St. Francis, and the ways you serve in the greater world. I learned that the Franciscan associates live all throughout the United States and even in Central America. So as a child, you instilled the values and shaped who I am today, especially Sister Lorinda, who was my kindergarten teacher. You have always been a guiding light and someone I admire. Thank you also to the Franciscan Way of Life team in Midlothian. You are a stellar and wonderful group of ladies. Thank you. I am filled with gratitude in becoming a Franciscan associate. It is definitely an honor and a joy. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Wojtasek. I am from Oak Forest, Illinois. I've been married for 50 years and we have 2 children, 2 dogs, and a cat. My career was in the field of insurance and customer service. I am currently retired and I love it. I volunteered at school when my kids were young with Scouts and Brownies, and as a PTA member and a room mom. I taught first grade religious ed in the past. I currently teach 2nd grade religious ed, and I love preparing them for their sacraments. I live the value of community. I'm an active member in my parish, involved in Bible study, a women's retreat team, and the Rosary Altar Society. I serve as lector and a Eucharistic minister. I love nature, and especially animals. I volunteer in animal control, and we take in stray cats and dogs, and we find homes for them. I've appreciated the last 2 years of Franciscan Way of Life training. I learned more about my favorite saint St. Francis and his beliefs, and also St. Clare, and how simplifying life can bring joy. I feel I already have some of the values of Francis and Clare, and I desire to continue learning about the Franciscan values, and I thank you for this opportunity. I also thank my wonderful team who went through the 2 years with me. They were great. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Pielmeyer, and I am from Streator, Illinois. I have 2 sons, 2 grandsons, and 2 granddaughters. I began my career as a certified nursing assistant and went back to school to become a medical assistant, and now I work for a hospital. My volunteer work includes serving a family from Venezuela, and also at church as a Eucharistic minister and a sacristan. I live the value of care for creation by recycling all I can, including water. I also support those in need by supporting my food pantry and Catholic charities. I learned much through these last 2 years, especially about St. Francis and St. Clare. I learned the difference between serving others and helping others. To be of service to others comes from a place of love and care, as St. Francis did. I desire to become associate as I continue to live Franciscan values. I will personally focus on care for creation and continue to serve others in any way I can. And I thank the wonderful team from Midlothian, Illinois. Thank you.
I'm Heather Craig Olson. Sister Eileen Miller and I had the pleasure of facilitating an online Zoom Franciscan Way of Life group. From this group, Marguerite Reinert, Mike Stein, Scott, I just keep doing that wrong, Scott Wright. It's only 2 years, okay. Gene Stoken, Byron Diggs, and Anthony Williams decided and discerned to become associates. I invite them to introduce themselves.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Marguerite Reinert, and I am from Sioux City, Iowa. I've been married to my husband Jason for 20 years. We have 2 children and 1 fur baby that I absolutely adore. I have been blessed to have a career in social work for 26 years and counting. My practice has pretty much centered on supporting individuals, youth, children and families, and communities through difficult times. Currently, I serve as the department chair and program director and assistant professor of social work at Briar Cliff University. One could say that my secondary career would be professional board member / volunteer, as I am very active in my community. And for the sake of getting us out of here before lunch, I won't list all of them, but have to mention one near and dear to my heart is a board member at Lila May's House, founded by Sister Shirley Finnerman. The value of community for me is both a calling and a daily practice. As a wife and mother, I nurture my family through prayer, intentional presence, and mutual care. In my professional role and in service to my community, I live community through creating a welcoming and inclusive learning environment for students. Standing with the poor is also a value I try to live. I have spent much of my career, and actually my life, walking with at-risk youth, families in crisis, and survivors of trauma. Standing with the poor for me means being present, using my voice to elevate the voice of others, and working to create systems of equity and justice. On my Franciscan Way of Life journey, I have gained significant insights that have deepened my faith. One of the most transformative has been understanding conversion as an ongoing journey, not just a single event, but daily unfolding of God's work around me. Another profound learning was the perspective on contemplation as transformation. Contemplation not only prayerful reflection, but it's about becoming like Christ in the here and now. I am drawn to this community. the joy, the simplicity, the dedication of peace and justice. It is my great honor and privilege to join you in carrying this spirit into the world. I wish to share in your mission and continue growing in prayer and service as a part of the associate community. Please know that you are in my prayers, and I ask for yours in return. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll introduce myself by my full name for the sake of today as Michael Francis Stein. And I go by Mike for the record. So I've been around Franciscans most of my life, as Sister Annette George was my aunt. Sorry, didn't see that coming. Married to my wife Deb for 32 years. I have four children and one grandchild. I went to Creighton University where I became a pharmacist and learned a lot of Ignatian values, which I'll supplement my newly forming or long-standing Franciscan values. So I served patients in the Iowa City area for about 35 years, and I continue to attempt to be a person of service for and with others, but also rooted in my Franciscan values. I try to exhibit those most visibly in my community by volunteering at the Catholic Worker House, doing a variety of volunteer work, most recently accompanying immigrants to their ICE check-ins and walking with them. I also participate a lot with the Sister Water Project and the Franciscans here, and I've run my entire life, and I continue to run for water and raise money for water projects for clean, safe water everywhere, which, if we truly believe in the dignity of all life, everyone deserves the right to water. With that, a couple of things I learned along my way that were important to me was trying to find joy a little better. It's not always easy to do. Bringing my Ignatian values into that, finding God in all things every day. And so I continue to blend those values. With that, conversion also, as Marguerite said, was impactful to me. As we think of conversion or converting in some values or some ways, I always felt I was good with that. But to know that it means to turn around or to turn towards God really was kind of a game changer for me with conversion. But also peace, as I continue to try to find peace, which is sometimes more difficult, sometimes more easy, but to realize that whether you're giving peace or receiving peace, it's truly a gift. And when Jesus says, I give you my peace I give you, and one of the most challenging parts of his human life, I can hopefully try to do the same. So with that, after much consideration, discernment, I decided to become an associate, and I appreciate the opportunity. I will strive to live in right relationship with my human and non-human community, led by the examples of Clare, St. Francis, all the sisters of St. Francis, and Sister Annette George. So with that, I look forward to the opportunity to be in community with all of you. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Scott Wright, and I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you. I'm here with my wife, Jean. We've been married 35 years. We live in Mount Rainier, Maryland, and have been part of Franciscan communities, the CC community in Washington, D.C., and our parish, St. Camillus in Silver Spring, Maryland. Much of my life has been, I've had the privilege to accompany migrants and refugees, beginning in El Salvador during the Civil War, where lifelong friendships with Sister Pat, Nancy, Carol, and Sister Kay, who's now deceased, began. I've worked at the U.S.-Mexico border with immigrants and currently with our St. Camillus Parish. I also work with Pax Christi USA for Gospel Nonviolence. I know Marie will be coming tomorrow, and we send our greetings. And I'm currently working with their International Committee for Nonviolence and Just Peace in Israel and Palestine. I'm so very grateful for this Franciscan journey of life, and to our facilitators, Sister Eileen and Heather, and to our co-journeyers. We've had an online community building, and it's wonderful to meet everyone face to face, and to anticipate with many of you in this room beginning of lifelong friendships and journeying together. And I'd just simply like to say the journey together is such a beautiful thing, and we do this in community, and we do this in the spirit of Francis and of Claire. And I've especially appreciated the common heart journey, and thinking, what does discernment mean in a Franciscan community, Franciscan journey, and especially the prophetic spirit of Francis and Claire, and their contemplative stance, and their friendship for one another have been especially meaningful to me. So I just want to say that the values of standing with the poor, accompanying migrants and refugees, caring for creation, and bearing witness to gospel nonviolence is what I take away from this. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for your welcome. I have to apologize for a dysphonia that I've developed, so apologies that you have to listen to scratches, but for someone whose full-time job is speaking truth to power, I still do it even with it. As Scott shared, we're married 35 years, met in El Salvador. We raised a daughter. Her name is Maura. She's named for Maura Clark, one of the 4 U.S. churchwomen martyred in El Salvador. And we have a 1-year-old granddaughter named Clara. My mother was a nun and an adorer of the precious blood, so I've learned everything about service from her. And so my background and training has been in social work, but for the last many decades I've worked in Washington, D.C. in social justice advocacy at the national level with Sisters with Women Religious, Sisters of Mercy, and through my work at Pax Christi USA. And I've tried to live our commitment to community, again, through our Common Heart group, our Franciscan parish, our neighborhood, and we were members of the CC community, the Live-In community in DC for some years. I would say because we live close to DC, we're just 4 blocks across the line and 20 minutes to the White House. We spend a lot of time in nonviolent public prayer protests outside the White House and lobbying in Congress to defend immigrants, most particularly recently calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for an end to U.S. support for Israel while the human rights violations. So a lot of nonviolent witness, living that close we must. And it was during the Franciscan way of life process that I feel I learned more of the histories of Francis and Claire, how they lived in their context, and it gave me not only the chance to be more disciplined in my prayer life, but to how to apply their spirituality to this current moment we are living in. So for that reason, I would appreciate the opportunity to continue to walk with this community as an associate. Thank you.
truly how good God is. My name is Byron Diggs. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the youngest of 9. I earned a degree in criminal justice, and much of my work has been in social services. In the early 90s, I moved to Chicago to care for my grandfather. I worked in a variety of places at that time: Orchard Village Center for Seniors, Department of Children and Family Services, to name a few. For 15 years now, I am the co-owner of the Meal of the Day Cafe and Catering. God is so mysterious. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Yeah. But he's turned it into a gathering place where people come together, because it all belongs to him, Mr. Stewart. So, I currently serve as co-chair of the Social Justice and Peace Ministry in my parish, Our Lady of Africa. I am also a member of our choir. I just finished a term of serving as board member of the Coalition for Spiritual and Public Leadership. I am a continuous student of God. My reading and praying without ceasing approach to the Bible helps me in my understanding of God and what I am called to do in service. I am mindful of people on the margins of life and treated, and I work for justice for all. One of the greatest insights from Franciscan way of life I obtained is the art of contemplation, which allows us to reflect on conditions and see how God is present. I would be privileged to be an associate and serve alongside dedicated sisters and associates. Please know my efforts will convey the spirit of service to God, and that sisters and associates have already extended throughout society. I know this work is spirit-driven and God-inspired. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. This is truly a joyous day for me, a very heart-wrenching day for me, and I bring you greetings from Our Lady of Africa Parish in Chicago, Illinois. I'm the youngest of 11 children that have been educated at Corpus Christi Parish by the wonderful Franciscan sisters. Corpus Christi was a great family parish because of the efforts of the Sisters of St. Francis. And when they left in 2018, Byron and I brought our 2 sisters home to you. And it was just significant to us, because it's like they were our family members going away to a new phase of their lives. And we have tried to be a continuing part of that life. And now you're stuck with us. I've been around Franciscans all of my life, and it has been a great joy and a privilege. My life work has included work at the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, Catholic Charities, Northwestern University, Centers for New Horizons, a child care conglomerate, to name a few. But my joyous work is being a chef for the past 15 years and owner at the Meal of the Day Cafe with my dear partner. Responding to God's calling has been a lifelong task for me. I've allowed myself to be open to the mystery of God. This caused me to be very intentional about where I serve. The Franciscans have taught me to serve my parish, my community with great pride, to be involved in community activities, conscientious about people on the margins of our society. All this spirit comes from you, and I'm so grateful. I am part of a coalition that was developed to address social issues of economic and environmental justice some 8 years ago, and God has given me the privilege to serve as its president of his board of directors to this day. It's all because of you, Franciscans. You have inspired me with your work and service. Sister Marilyn was my 4th grade teacher at Corpus Christi, Sister Marilyn Fracking. The late Sister Lucy Williams was my 3rd grade teacher. I've been giving you all trouble all these 60 years. At the Franciscan Way of Life sessions, I was inspired because I came into thinking I knew everything to be known about St. Francis and Clare. Boy, was I wrong. I'm still learning and hoping to be inspired and to walk this journey in life with you for the conviction that the inspiration of St. Francis and St. Clare continues to keep us together and boldly face the issues and ills of our society, knowing that God is smiling. Let's keep him smiling. God be with you.
That was Anthony Williams, by the way. I am Nancy Knipper. Jane Heyer and I were the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for a group that met in person at Mount St. Francis Center. From this group, Linda Hocking and Jim Earls discerned to be associates. I invite them to introduce themselves.
Okay. Hi. I am Linda Hocking, and I am from Keeler, Wisconsin, just across the river. I am married to my husband, John, for 58 years. We have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 15 great-grandchildren. I am blessed. Early on in my career, I worked for a chiropractor for 24 years. After that, I started ministering here at Mount St. Francis Center, and I've been here 11 and a half years. Working at the switchboard and in activities, doing all kinds of fun things with the sisters. Birthday parties, playing cards, bingo. Or just taking them for a walk, or just taking them and sitting with them. I consider myself a simple person after what I'm hearing. I will pray for anyone who asks for prayers, and I support people who are in need in any way that I can. I care for creation by tending to my flower garden, which attracts butterflies, bunnies, squirrels. In fact, lately I've had a little bunny who I started feeding ears of corn. And when I get up in the morning, he's looking at me through the Four Seasons room door, waiting for his brunch. I love it. I am myself a joyful person, and I share that with everybody around me. The Franciscan way of life started for me when I attended Immaculate Conception School in Keeler. I was in 8th grade. I was taught by Franciscan sisters, and one very special sister invited a group of us girls, 8th graders, to attend a retreat in Rockford, Illinois. That was from Saturday to Sunday. And Monday morning, I approached my parents saying, I want to become a sister. Mom looked at Dad, Dad looked at Mom. I'll never forget it. And they said, Linda, can you give it 4 years? Because I was the oldest out of 8. Yeah, Mom had her hands full. So, from that retreat, I realized I wanted to be a sister. Well, by the time I graduated from high school, I met my husband, John, got married, and started the family. When I learned about this Franciscan way of life being offered, I jumped at the opportunity to participate. I look forward to each session and to just being here amidst the sisters. My children just say, Mom, you're so excited to go to work. Well, now I even have my grandson who is helping in the dining room, and he's excited to come to work. I am so full of gratitude that I can stand here before you today and become an associate. And I want to thank Nancy and Jane and our fellow sisters for all that you have given me. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jim Earls. I'm originally from Maquoketa, Iowa, but I came to Dubuque in 1994 to go to Loras College. I've been here ever since. I suppose it's time I start saying I'm from Dubuque. Well, I was at Loras for about 1.5 years. I was discerning a call to the priesthood, but that did not end up being the plan. Instead, I am now looking to celebrate 25 years of marriage to my wife, Amber, next month. We have 3 children, and she and I joke that we role reverse a lot in terms of traditional gender sort of things. I spent 17 years at home with the kids, homeschooling them, while she has worked a full-time job in the computer industry, paying the bills. During those 17 years, though, I did work a variety of part-time jobs when I could. I served for about 20 years, actually, as the co-chapter leader of a nutritional group called the Weston A. Price Foundation. I've been a yoga teacher since 2001, also try to attend to that when time allows. But more currently, and for about 2.5 years now, I have been the program coordinator at Shalom Spirituality Center, which is a great blessing in my life, and I'm so joyful to be working for the sisters and now joining on in this new capacity. 2 ways in which I've strived to live Franciscan values are through simplicity and nonviolence. As far as simplicity, I do my best to reduce my personal consumption in every way I can. I'm especially conscious of food waste. I'm always the one at home. Our youngest daughter is 17 and has not absorbed these values yet. I hope she will. But I'm always the one that's sneaking over to look in the trash can to see what she's thrown away now, you know. Pulling out a bag of fast food and saying, well, these scraps can be composted, the bag can be recycled, you know, so. And with nonviolence, I've considered myself a peace activist since college days. I do my best to attend rallies, events, sign petitions, and I'm so grateful that my work at Shalom allows me to continue that through the programs that we schedule. The Franciscan way of life process greatly expanded my knowledge about Francis and the Franciscans. Previously, I had the mistaken conception of Francis as being sort of a dour, penitent individual, and I was so happy to learn about the joy which actually permeated Francis's life and mission. That drew me in. Another insight for me was the way in which Francis, while remaining faithful to the church, challenged the church so greatly, such as with his visit to the Sultan. All done in the name of working for peace, but standing up boldly in the name of working for that peace. I am inspired by Francis's ability to live out God's call in a very personal way. And I feel that the Spirit has led me to the place of saying yes to becoming an associate. I thank you all so much for being a welcoming community, and I look forward to being a part.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing so deeply with us. We have heard you, we are grateful for you, and know of our prayers and support. I want to take a minute and invite all the new associates to stand. Please stand, turn around, and see the sisters and associates who are welcoming you today. Wow, that's amazing. I think we also want to picture up Logan. This picture, if we can someone turn, thank you, Kathy. This picture was taken Friday evening at our gathering 2 nights ago at Shalom. I think this group on the screen and the people who have said yes to their discernment to this Franciscan way of life, this is a result, sisters and associates, of all of our efforts of inviting people to share in our Franciscan way of life process, and not just inviting, but taking responsibility, being a facilitator, being a prayer sister. This is the work and the effort of all of us. So thank you all for being here today. This morning, we're also recognizing 2 people who have been associates for 25 years. Lurvalina Rodas and Brigida Lozano Vargas are from Guatemala. They became associates in the year 2000. And they are able to join us today through this pre-recorded video. And thank you to Logan for his assistance in this. We hope you enjoy this video as much as we do.
Un saludo fraterno para todos ustedes. Soy Lurbe, guatemalteca, vivo en Salcajá, Quetzaltenango. Tengo 25 años de vivir la experiencia como asociada franciscana de la Sagrada Familia. Este tiempo ha sido un tiempo muy alegre, lleno de muchas expectativas y esperanza. También ha sido un tiempo de búsqueda, de procesos y de encuentro. Agradezco a las hermanas franciscanas de la Sagrada Familia por compartir su carisma con nosotros los asociados. En cuanto a la vivencia de los valores franciscanos, pues pienso que los valores van unidos, uno se va dando tras otro en la medida en que vamos conociendo, profundizando y reflexionando en cada uno de ellos. Los que pienso que más he hecho vida ha sido la alegría que se da a pesar de las limitaciones, de las situaciones que a veces se nos presentan, en nuestro caminar, en varias situaciones que se dan en el trabajo, en la comunidad, en la parroquia. Luego, esto conlleva también a vivirlo a través de la oración, que ha sido como otro valor que me ha fortalecido y me ha hecho siempre buscar lo que Dios quiere que hagamos o que vivamos aquí en este lugar. Con la oración también vemos que a veces se presentan situaciones en las que se da a través de ese caminar con los pobres, en el que hay que poner lo que nos toca. Y en ese sentido, pues hemos acogido al ver estas situaciones a 3 jóvenes que estudian, trabajan, en los cuales viven en nuestra casa y que tuvieron y están todavía en ese proceso de curar varias heridas de su pasado. También tenemos una joven madre soltera que fue la última que llegó a nuestra casa con 2 niños, los cuales también necesitan atención, cuidado y también este encuentro con Dios que van haciendo en el cada día. Agradezco también la oportunidad que me dan de poderme dirigir y de poderme presentar a ustedes y decirles que durante estos años, pues esta experiencia la he vivido como en este ir y venir de mi país, el cual es un país pluricultural, multilingüe, multiétnico, pero que conlleva también varias situaciones de dolor, de pobreza y de injusticia.
I'm going to read what is written at the bottom of the screen so that, oh, Nancy says no. Can they see back there?
See the ones on the side.
Oh, you've got other screens, I'm sorry.
You were thoughtful. That's good. We're concerned about the scene.
That's right.
Un saludo fraterno desde Guatemala. No soy de acá, pero llevo varios años en este país. Comparto con ustedes parte de la vida. Tengo 25 años de ser franciscana, asociada franciscana, y pues ha sido un tiempo de mucha gracia de Dios, de mucha fortaleza. Es un tiempo de poder llevar un proceso de manera personal, un proceso de vida y un proceso espiritual, y eso me ha llenado muchísimo en mi caminar como ser humano, como persona que trata de vivir una espiritualidad. Quisiera verles de manera personal, pero no es posible esto, entonces pues les saludo realmente emocionada de saber que van a estar ahí juntos compartiendo esta bella espiritualidad franciscana. Llevo, como dije, ya 5 años de vivirla, y esto ha significado para mí también la alegría de contar con esa experiencia de fe en ese proceso de vida. Y en este momento pues trato de vivir especialmente los valores de la acogida, la fraternidad, porque pues en casa hemos acogido a 3 jóvenes que están tratando de llevar una vida distinta a que llevaban en sus hogares, y de salir adelante de una manera diferente, y tener una vida digna, y al mismo tiempo pues compartimos, ellos comparten con nosotros, también con una familia, una mamá con 2 niños, que también ha sido acogida en casa para poder salir adelante. Este es el pueblo de Salcajá, en el departamento de Quetzaltenango, un país de Guatemala. Algo que se puede observar desde cerca de nuestra casa son estos lugares. Algunos árboles, otros cerros que han sido botados para la construcción y otras notificaciones que están construyendo, y aparte pues, los volcanes y cerros que caracterizan a este país. Muchas gracias por este espacio que me han permitido compartir esta con ustedes. Así que para todos.
Also, about a dozen people were invited to record a blessing or a prayer for Brigida and Lurve, and Logan put those pre-recorded videos into a link, and that link will be sent to Brigida and Lurve probably this week sometime to let them know that they are being thought about, that they are being remembered, and that we are grateful for their 25 years of commitment of living the Franciscan values. So thank you for being here this morning and sharing this time together. Liturgy will begin at 10:30 in Francis House Chapel, and we will commission associates during that liturgy. Right now, we need to practice for that, so we are asking that you stay here until we all leave, so we get there in time to practice. You may greet and meet the associates at lunch time. There will be time at lunch for you to meet personally with them. So again, we'll just follow Dave. The 23 of us will follow Dave. But thank you for being here and for your support.